Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club Podcast, where every week, me and Miss Boo search through all of cinema to find some awesome stuff to talk about. And this week, we are talking about Batman 66.
Which Dean is just going to complicate for us, but...
It's not complicated, alright? Okay, because every week, we're going through picking out these Batman movies for this month.
Yes.
This is the last week, and to do Batman justice, we decided to talk about Adam West Batman, right?
Yes.
The forebear. And you caveated this film to me as Dean. This movie is horrible, but it's gonna be great.
I don't think those were my exact words.
You did set me up saying this movie was not very good.
Compared to the Batman films that we've been discussing, this is very, very different. Character-wise, story-wise, action-wise, compared to what we've seen so far. And I also know you. I know that your criteria for what makes a film good is...
Not this movie.
Is astronomical, even to levels that I can't even comprehend. So I thought, ooh, Dean is going to see this and he is just going to have a field day with what this movie is. And I was very surprised at your reaction.
Yeah, I love this movie.
And I'm still very surprised at his reaction.
This movie is so much fun. It is a living comic book. It's a living cartoon. This cuts through all the muck and pomp and circumstance of all other Batman media and just gets to the heart of the character, which is he is a cartoon for children, and he is meant to be entertaining and fun. We don't have enough fun superhero movies.
We're going to have a game at the end of this episode ranking all the Batman and stuff that we've been talking about over the past month. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm going to play a game with myself right now.
Yes.
Where every time Dean says pomp and circumstance, I take a drink of my Dr. Pepper. Because so far today, he's already said it like 4 times, so I got to catch up.
Pomp and circumstance.
Gotta drink some more. Hold on.
All right, so... but Batman, 1966, stars Adam West, Burt Ward, Lee Merriweather, Cesar Romero, Burgess Meredith, Frank Gordon. There are a lot of people, right?
Yes.
This is the first live-action Batman film, right?
I think there might have been one earlier when there was, like, the original Batman show that was in black and white. Might have been...
I think that was a serial, right?
It was a serial, yeah. So I'm not sure if they had, like, maybe a short film, but this is, like, the first Batman film.
Yeah, and I know that this film, I guess for people who are watching it now, because I don't think they do this do they still do pilots now?
For what, TV shows?
Yeah, for TV shows. They still do
Of course they do.
Well, I don't know because of, like, streaming services where they're like, they don't do pilots on streaming shows anymore, they just screenlight a whole fucking season.
No, it'll usually say pilot on it still. So pilot is still very much a thing, but this was actually, I know what road you're going down. Yeah. This was actually the pilot to the Batman show. And they just decided, you know what, let's keep this as a movie and we'll have a show. And with the show, taking off the way that it did, they're like, it makes sense to kind of have a couple of seasons, a movie, more seasons, and then we'll do another movie because it's just gonna be a juggernaut of money.
Yeah, because I looked into some of the history of this, and this was originally supposed to be the pilot for the show, right? And then something happened, like the show aired before the movie got released, so they just shelved it for a year.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a year because the show came out in 1966. So it was just like months.
Okay, it was like until the first season ended, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and watching the movie, it does feel like 3 episodes of a TV show stapled together. Mm-hmm. Which, again, the movie's a lot more fun than it is good.
Or practical.
Because it doesn't really... The movie don't really make a whole lot of sense, right?
No, not really. Yeah. I mean, it feels like you're kind of just dropped into their lives. This isn't like an origin story where it's like, this is Bruce Wayne, this is Dick Grayson, this is, Gotham. So it's like, I can see how this was the pilot, because it's just, we're not getting a lot of information. Everything is so foreign to us. And it's like, it's like we're supposed to know that's Catwoman, that's the Penguin, that's the Riddler, that's the Joker. The rogues gallery of villains. Because the whole premise of the movie is that rogues gallery, they come across this dehydration ray,
and their goal is to dehydrate the United Nations or whatever.
Yeah.
And they turn them all into this dust material, and they're gonna hold them all for ransom, like $1 million per country to get them all back.
Which I'm sure that dust was cat litter.
Oh, most definitely.
I've got a cat, you've got cats. I mean, just seeing those first piles, I was like, that's cat litter.
It's cat litter and food coloring. That is something I love about this movie, this show, is you can tell so much of this was made with, like, stucco and a dream.
Yeah.
You know, like, some of the props in this and the sets look so gaudy and so cheap. But again, because none of the actors acknowledge it, and none of them are trying to play the movie as beneath them, you buy into it. You know, it's kind of like the original Star Trek series.
Yeah.
Where all the aliens are guys in rubber masks, but because William Shatner refuses to make this thing anything less than an epic melodrama, you buy into it because it's just fun.
Sure.
Sure. I know you hate Star Trek, alright?
I don't hate it. It's never appealed to me.
I think you would probably like The Next Generation. Like Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Because it's not nearly as cheap, and it's probably way more your speed than, like, the original series.
It also has Picard.
Also, start with Season 2. Season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation is some of the worst television in history. Alright? Just Season 1.
But back to Batman.
Yeah, so they dehydrate all these, like, UN, they're gonna hold them hostage for $1 million, and Batman...
$1 billion from each of their countries.
Yes, $1 billion from each country, and Batman has to figure out who these dastardly villains are, has to infiltrate their lair, and then has to save the world with the help of his sidekick, Robin, and it's just cartoon comic book. It's just fun. Like, this is like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah. It's also kind of like Roger Rabbit, because it's cartoons meshing with real life.
Yeah.
Except I like Roger Rabbit a lot more, because this was just, like, really bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, and I don't get how you don't like that.
Well, I mean, I like the show. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I like the show. It's cheesy, it's campy, but it's just, to compare it with the Batman that we've seen over the years, for me it kind of falls short.
Okay, well, let's get to that, because that's probably the most interesting point of, like, conversation for this, because, you know, everybody, like, the whole point of these podcasts is we talk about the movie for, like, 5 minutes, and then we talk about everything around it.
Yeah.
So, what is it about this interpretation of Batman that you just don't, like, ride on? Like you just don't get into?
I don't know, I think it's just... I said it earlier when we were talking before we were recording. It's like Adam West kind of took the Shatner route, and it's just like, I'm going to be a character, not like the one I saw in the comic books.
He is exactly like Batman was in the comic books for the time.
Yeah, you know, the Sheldon version. Sheldon, I know I have it somewhere here in my notes.
Oh, yeah, the writer of the Batman of the 60s?
Sheldon Moldoff. They took that version of Batman and the villains. And I mean, no shade towards Sheldon Moldoff, because we got, you know, Poison Ivy, Clayface, Mr. Freeze. But they kind of went that route instead of going towards the more serious Carmine Infantino. His was, you know, the Silver Age, and he was a bit more serious, and it was more the Dark Knight. So it's like, it's hard to see kind of, you know, the range of Batman where it's, you know, more serious, rooting the Cape Crusader versus, you know, the Bat-2C, and, you know, everything is bat this, bat that.
Okay.
I mean, opening of the movie, we have him with a shark attached to his leg.
And with the bat shark repellent? Yes. Which is one of the greatest things in cinematic history. It is glorious.
I think that you need to watch the show so you could see the surf competition between Batman and the Joker.
I didn't know that was a thing that I needed in my life, but that I need that in my life.
You gotta watch it after we finish recording this.
But here's the thing. Like, I acknowledge that Batman is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, Batman the character has been around for 90 years, right?
We're almost at 90, yeah.
Yeah, so I get it. You know, you have Denny O'Neil Batman, you have Burton Batman, you have all of these different interpretations of Batman across 90 plus years. Bob Kane Batman, Bill Finger Batman. You have all these different versions of Batman. But the Adam West interpretation of Batman is, I feel, not only just as valid as the Michael Keaton interpretation from the Tim Burton films, or the Christian Bale version from the Nolan films, or even the Pattinson version from the Matt Reeves films. I feel Adam West's interpretation of Batman is not only just as valid as them, but is possibly more accurate to the Batman that existed at that time.
And for me, you know, I agree with you. I think he is just as valid as the rest of the other Batman. For his time, yes, because this was the 60s. 67 was the Summer of Love, I believe. So this was very much how the world was, where it was, you know, very groovy. Yeah. And we get a very groovy Batman.
Exactly.
But to compare him with the other ones, it's like, you know, I kind of lead towards the dark side. And you lead more towards the fun, groovy, you know, fun times.
It's just the thing where my interpretation of Batman stems a lot more in the fundamental idea of him as a character. And that is, he is a character designed for children. And he is supposed to be fun and having fun.
Yeah.
And I feel this version of Batman, the Adam West Batman, is way more in line with that foundational idea of him in concept than any other Batman.
I mean, I get it. You know, yes, comic books are for children. That's the whole reason that they were produced.
Yeah.
It's turned into this market where now comic books are more for adults, and now they make more kid-friendly comic books.
Which is so weird.
It is, but it's like, as long as I get, you know, a hold of my comic books, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. But, you know, to kind of, you know, say, okay, Batman needs to be this goofy and, you know, this kind of, you know, silly. You know, we grew up in the day of Batman the Animated Series, which is more film noir and more dark and more brooding. And us as kids, we were entertained. I mean, I'm going through the series right now and watching it episode by episode again.
No, I understand that. And it's a thing where, like, yeah, I get it. This version of Batman did not exist in my childhood, but, like, you also have to look at it where I'm coming from here, because, yeah, Batman the Animated Series, it was darker, you know, yada yada yada. It was more in line with, like, the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
But this version is a Batman of a different generation where, yeah, no, this is exactly the kind of, like, Batman that would exist for 1966. This really goofy, really campy. It's made in 4-color panels you would see on, like, a newsstand. Yeah, like, this looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
This looks like some of those old silver golden age Batman comic books I got sitting in my boxes over there.
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel this is a incredibly accurate and valid portrayal of the character of Batman.
Okay, and that's your opinion. I mean, for me, I think he needs to be a little bit more
brooding,
more dark, more isolated.
A little bit more on the edge, as it were. You know,
Dean's making a hand motion as he's doing
on
this.
That edge, that edge lording over there.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, so for me, I think he needs to be a little bit more on the serious side. And I know that was an issue with Adam West when he came into the movie, where he was like, okay, you know what, I will do this, but I want to have more time as Bruce Wayne, instead of just being in costume the whole time and being a character. And we get it, and it's like, it doesn't feel like we get him too much because he falls head over heels for Catwoman.
Yeah, like, I think he's a good Batman. I don't think he's a good Bruce Wayne.
No, I mean, because we see him for, like, a hot second as Bruce Wayne, and then he's kind of, you know, under Catwoman's spell, and, you know, let's go for a, you know, ride in a horse-drawn carriage, and the romantic music, and, oh yes, I feel myself losing control, and it's just like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
It's a date. Like, come on.
It works better when he's wearing, Batman
Yeah.
pajamas and dancing around in a mask. But without it, and he's trying to elevate the material in that way, it doesn't really work. Like, that actually comes off as, like, little awkward. Once he's actually in the Batman costume, it works a lot better.
I mean, I thought he did really good when he was Bruce Wayne and they had kidnapped him, and he's fighting in the submarine with all of them. And I was like,
the cheapest submarine in film history.
Yes, and it's like, it kind of felt like a James Bond moment. We've got him in the suit, and he's fighting, and he's throwing them around, and I'm like, okay, we're actually seeing Bruce Wayne, and it's, oh, Batman's on his way to, come save you, try to survive until then, and it's Bruce like, okay, no one's coming to save me. I've got to make my way out of here and not reveal my cover. Also, how do they not figure out that he's Bruce Wayne?
How do they not figure out Clark Kent is Superman?
These people, these villains.
Yeah, like, or like Diana Prince's Wonder Woman. Like, she doesn't even wear a mask.
No?
Like that, like, yeah, of course they're not gonna figure out, he's Batman. But yeah, like, I look at, this movie and I just think, it's so much fun. It's just a living cartoon, and I kind of grooved on it. Like, I don't think it's a very good movie. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think Adam West is, like, the best part about... Well, Adam West and Burt Ward are, like, the best part about this entire movie.
Burt Ward's just trying to, do his job, and he's like,
Gee Willikers, Batman.
Oh, man, that was driving me
Holy
crazy.
holidays, Batman. It's Catwoman.
Holy sardine.
Holy sardines, Batman.
Holy heart attack.
Holy heart attack, Batman. There's so many of those going on in this movie, and it's wonderful. It is wonderful.
I mean,
I know you're like, Dean, what do you mean this is wonderful? I thought you were supposed to be the pretentious one. It's just fun.
You are the pretentious one, but you're also the big cheese, so I could see why you love this.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't dig it.
I think I enjoyed the show more.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it feels like a show, and this is what the movie kind of feels like, a show, and it's just kind of on running.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I like knowing that the show's starting and we're going to get the animated title before the actual show starts. Mm-hmm. I love that they still incorporated like the whole bat, transition in between some of the scenes where you see the bat logo and the da-da-da-da, and it sets up for the next scene. So it feels a lot like the program.
Yeah.
But with the film, it just kind of felt like it was a little all over the place. A little heavy on the cheese, this bomb scene that lasted... for like 5 minutes where he's just running around with a bomb over his head.
Batman finds the bomb and he has to get rid of it, but Batman can't throw it into the group of nuns. Oh, he can't throw it into the marching band. He can't throw it at the woman in the carriage. Oh, he's gonna throw it over the wharf, and he can't throw it out there. There's a whole school of ducks. And I'm like, this is Batman. This is a superhero. He is so goody two-shoes he can't even hurt ducks.
And the fact that the scene took 5 hours to film.
Oh.
Of just Adam West running around with a fake bomb over his head. This
is cinematic art right there.
If I were Adam West, I would have kicked that thing so far. I'd be like, you know what? I'm getting tired.
Kick the soccer ball with a flare into it.
I'm like, I am getting tired of holding this thing over my head all day. Just, fuera.
It is so funny because you can so tell that bomb is like a basketball in like paper mache and with like a road flare on the top. The amount of cheese in this movie is delectable. I don't know. I just really dig this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I love the design of the submarine, that it's basically a penguin, and you have the little, feet, kicking every time you see it go by. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cute. That's funny.
Yeah.
But it's just like... the cheese is so heavy.
Is this just a thing where you're just like, you can't get past how campy it is?
A little bit. It's just...
This is a little bit too much even for you?
Yeah, and it's like, I really enjoy the show. I love the Batmobile.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, has been a constant, is that the Batmobile is so cool, and it feels like something of that time where you would expect it to be, wow, it's just, souped up with all these gadgets.
It's just a Lincoln Continental with some bat logos on it. Oh, yeah. Like, don't be wrong. Like, there's some things in this movie that look, like, really cool just because of how iconic they are.
The Batcopter.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of iconography, this movie is iconic, right? Or at least this version of Batman is iconic.
It's iconic because it was brand new. Also, it started Batmania.
Yeah.
Which we kind of touched on in the Michael Keaton movie, where it was just a phenom with merchandise and people shaving the logo into their head and, all sorts of crazy things. But this, was the one that actually started it, where people were just like, there's Batman everywhere. They're making appearances, they're doing things special to promote the show and the movie. So yeah, it was very new for its time. And it kind of coincided with a lot of big things in the 60s, like Beatlemania and, lots of bands and movies. So it's very iconic for what it is. It's just, the camp's a little too strong for me.
Yeah, and that's probably, like, I would think that this is a movie people are either gonna love or hate. I don't think there's many people who are gonna watch it and be like, it was okay, there's nothing wrong with it, it was fine. This is either gonna be this movie's so goofy I can't stand it, or this movie's so goofy I love it.
I think there's enough space in the middle to be like, there's things that I enjoy about it, but is this something that I could watch on the regular? No.
But, that is Batman 66.
Yeah, and I mean, it's important because this is, the first film iteration that we get. I mean, it also inspired Matt Reeves with his Batman, because we also get the Riddler, Catwoman, and the Penguin. Yeah. So, we've got that Easter egg. It's coming from the first film.
Joker's even in it.
The Joker's in it, too.
Yeah, it's a thing where the influence of this movie, and if you don't see it, like, has affected every Batman
Absolutely.
after it. Like, Tim Burton's Batman, Michael Keaton, they tried so hard. We need to be as different as Adam West as possible, because everyone who goes into the theater is only going to think of Adam West, right? And even with the Nolan series of films, they were like, okay, we have to make sure that we do not draw not only any parallels to the Burton Batman, but we also distinguish ourselves from the West Batman. Yeah. Because, as we know, with the Burton series or the original Batman series, it divulged into a far more Adam West style campy Batman with the Schumacher films. Yeah. So it's a thing where, like, the shadow of camp has lorded over this series of films for forever, and probably always will.
Yeah, and I mean, because of that shadow, it took, Keaton's Batman, was it 10 or 15 years to be accomplished, because so many studios were like, you're really gonna make, like, another campy Batman movie? And they're like, no, we're gonna go serious. I don't believe you.
Well, the other one was, why would you go serious? Because the West one worked. That makes money.
And also, the West one was, what was it, a Fox movie?
I think so. Well, it was made by, like, their TV production, so I think it was released by 20th Century Fox.
And this was before Warner Brothers bought DC, so this was...
This is the only DC superhero film not released by Warner Brothers, isn't it?
Correct.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I want more Fox Batman movies, if this is what we get. Fuck it. I know Sony has all of the Spider-Man people that are not Spider-Man. Fuck it. Let Fox take a run at trying to make another Batman movie.
Well, you let me know how it is.
I will. But let's have everyone else know something. How we liked all the Batman movies up to this point. Because I know that's a big thing. We wanted to get at the end of this month, the game, as it were, or the rankings, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, we're seeing all the first, like, origin stories of this character, except for 66. It's not too much of an origin story.
Same with 89. It's not really an origin story. Well, what it is, it's the origination of these iconic Batmans.
Exactly. So we're going to be doing a game where we break down... our favorite villain of the movies we've seen, our favorite Batmobile, so on. Yes. So, okay, let's start our game, and you guys follow along. Maybe some of our answers will match. Maybe they'll be completely different than ours.
Yes, but ours are technically correct in every aspect.
I wouldn't say that.
We have the microphone. We are always correct. You know how that works.
I still wouldn't say that, but let's start the game.
Alright.
Alright, so, let's see. Favorite Gotham?
My favorite Gotham? Tim Burton's Batman. Batman 89, best Gotham. Most like a comic book. I think it has a lot of style, a lot of substance. I dig the hell out of it.
Which I'm so surprised because you're, you and your Tim Burton, and you're just like, Tim Burton hands down.
Oh, yeah. Look, I give Tim Burton a lot of shit for his recent stuff because he's become more style over substance, but his Batman movie, like, that's a styling kind of movie. I dig the production design of that Batman movie. What about you?
It was difficult. Because, I love Tim Burton. I love that Gotham, but I'm going to have to go with the Batman.
The Pattinson.
The Pattinson Batman.
Matt Reeves Batman.
Pattinson, yes. I'm going to have to go with that because I really like that it's very realistic, like somewhere that you can go and actually visit.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling like the city is just completely falling apart.
Yeah.
Because with Tim Burton's, it feels like you're in a different universe, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that this feels very real in the Matt Reeves film.
No, I can appreciate that. I think that's a good line because it's a lot more real than the Batman, or than 89, but it's not nearly trying to be as ultra realistic as like the Nolan movie.
Yeah, that one was a big struggle for me because it just felt like...
It felt like you were watching Chicago.
Chicago, yeah, just drone footage, and it's like, I'm not getting the vibe of, this is Gotham, a city that Bruce Wayne loves so much, and he's so, I can't even think of the word. He's just so determined to save this city that's, completely falling to pieces. Because it's fairly clean, we only get the villains and the action inserted into those streets.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so next question. Best Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Christian Bale. It's not even close. Not even close by any standard.
Even more over West?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, Adam West does not have nearly enough... Okay, Adam West, Bruce Wayne, is not a character. He is a performance.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Keaton seems to not have any interest playing Bruce Wayne. He's interested in being Batman, an unhinged creature of the night, like lunatic. He's interested in being the vigilante. He doesn't really want to play Bruce Wayne.
No.
And Pattinson, or the Matt Reeves Batman, that is not even close to him even attempting to want to be Bruce Wayne. I don't think we get a single scene of him being Bruce Wayne in that film. It's just him being... No, that's just him being Batman. It's just him as Batman without the mask on. We never see him play the playboy billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
We never see Batman put the mask of Bruce Wayne on.
Yeah.
Except with Christian Bale. I think that's the only time in these series of films we actually see the mask of Bruce Wayne. Because Bruce Wayne's the mask. He's always Batman.
Yeah. I agree. Bale is my favorite Bruce Wayne because he could really play up the character. Mm-hmm. We see him struggle with it in the beginning of Batman Begins. But towards the end of the movie... He's full-on Bruce Wayne. He's like, oh, that's right, I went back and I bought the majority of the shares, so it is my company again. Ha-ha.
Ha-ha. Wayne Industries is mine.
And I know we can't, expand further into the Nolan trilogy, but we just see him evolve more into the billionaire playboy and, he's constantly getting into trouble and not helping us. So, yeah, Bale wins it for me, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Best Batcave.
Bale again for me. I think it's the most interesting because I think it was like a real cave, right? That's what we said in the episode.
Yeah, and it was a practical set. Also, my favorite too was Bale's Batcave. I mean, Nolan really went out to make this an actual thing that you could walk into and kind of be immersed into, which you get that feel in the movie.
Yeah, and it's not only that, it definitely feels the most in character for this Batman, because I think Keaton's Batcave is more like cartoony, it's more designed, it's way more in like that Tim Burton-esque like gothic architecture, what have you.
That, and you could also tell that some of it, or most of it's a matte painting.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel real, it just feels very 2D.
Yeah, it feels a little artificial. I think I like the Bale one because it's so much more like the Sanctum. It's a little It's like grittier, it's darker. I just like it a lot. I think that I liked how the cave just like looked, because it's actually a cave.
Yeah.
You know?
It's got the waterfall, and that's how he leaves and comes back through the water. So it's a lot of different moving parts to it. Mm-hmm. And there's bats in it.
Yeah, there's bats in it.
There's freaking bats.
Batman needs bats.
Okay, so best bat suit.
I know your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the one that have the abs of Pattinson involved. But mine are the bat nipples of Keaton, if I have to be honest.
Joke's on you, there's no nipples on that costume.
Ah, curses. Curse the Mandela effect.
That was the only reason why he chose it, because of the bat nipples.
But of course. But, yeah, I like Michael Keaton's Batman costume the most. It is the Batman silhouette of the Batman I grew up with. Mm-hmm. Like, my imagination of Batman as a character is of the all-black suit with the yellow insignia and the Batman that cannot turn his head left or right.
Yeah.
Like, that is my version of the Batsuit that I like the most.
Which, trademarked the bat turn, where he has to completely turn his body to look into the camera.
He has to roll his shoulders every time he turns. For people who don't notice that, watch the movie again and just watch every time Michael Keaton tries to turn his head, his whole shoulders have to move with him. He's wearing a neck brace the entire movie. It's kind of great.
Couldn't move his head, couldn't hear anything under all the silicone.
It is by far the most uncomfortable bat suit that has ever been worn by an actor.
Oh, definitely, because, in Wes, it's just spandex.
Yeah, I think it's basically just bat pajamas is what everyone describes it as.
Yeah, and that was like a gripe of mine with this costume, how small the bat insignia is on it.
Yeah.
It's like a patch that they just kind of ironed onto the chest, and it's like, no, it's Batman. It should be, a big thing on his chest.
I think it goes into the charm of the movie, which is how kind of cheap it is, and I kind of love it, which is how cheesy his suit is. I like how Robin's suit, though, is like the best Robin outfit we've ever gotten in any live-action Batman film, because, it's exactly like the comic books, but then you look at Batman's suit and you're like...
He just rolled out of bed.
Just rolled out of bed. It's not even a black costume. It's baby blue. Or not baby blue, but navy blue or whatever.
Like powdered blue.
Yeah.
His bat PJs. Batman, what's going on with your bat suit? It's casual Bat Friday, so I'm in my bat PJs today.
I would love if the next Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, he was wearing, the bat pajamas. It's just casual Friday, man,
I'm trying to think. I think that was in the Nolan trilogy. I don't know if it was Nolan trilogy. I don't think it was Pattinson. But in one of the scenes, there's clothes hanging up on a line, and it's kids' Batman pajamas that are hanging.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's in the third one, The Dark Knight Rises, I think it's where it is.
It's somewhere in there. So yeah, that'd be interesting. I think we'd probably get that more from Lego Batman. I could totally see him wearing bat PJs.
The greatest Batman of them all. How do we not talk about it?
Apparently, the ratings on that are so high. I gotta watch that. I haven't seen it. Let's see. So we talked about... Oh yeah, mine's Pattinson for best Batsuit.
I kind of call it, right?
You did. I forgot. We just kind of went on a tangent about Bat PJs.
It's the most practical Batsuit.
Most practical. He's evolved through the decades, and it's kind of like, oh, hey, by the way, when you're getting your costume made, do this. Oh, you're the next one, okay, do that. And Pattinson was able to walk in, and they're like, yeah, make sure you can move your head, and you could go to the bathroom.
Yes. I understand. It is the bat suit that not only is the most practical, but it's also the one that it looks like the actor can actually move and function
and breathe in it.
Yeah, which is the problem with almost all the other ones.
Yeah, and I also like that his bat symbol on his chest was also a weapon or a tool for him to use. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just, something that was on there. It's like, oh no, it's another practicality thing where I can, use this and just put it back onto my uniform.
Yeah, it all has purpose.
Yeah. Okay, best Batmobile.
I'm going with Keaton again, baby. All right. I kind of love the Hot Wheels Batmobile.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
again, a lot of the style stuff about Batman, I think Tim Burton really got right.
Yeah.
I think he really understood the design to go with, and I think the Batmobile in that is just, right on that line of being almost too ridiculous to be real, and so cool you want one.
Exactly. And I mean, I really struggled because I love cars and I love the Batmobiles.
Yeah.
You know, the Keaton Batmobile was the first, toy car of mine that I had, and I think I'm probably gonna have to go with Pattinson's Batmobile.
The character.
Yes, because that car has so much character. Not that West's car doesn't have any character, because my god, that car is like...
That's the only one of these I think is street legal. I'm almost convinced that's the only Batmobile you could drive as a real car.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's, vibrant. It does a whole bunch of things. It's kind of right up there with, like, Homer Simpson's car when he designs a car at his brother's car company.
Oh, God, yes. I wish the Homer Simpson car existed.
Give it time. Someone will do it.
Somebody will 3D print a whole car, and that'll be the first one made.
But yeah, I gotta go with Pattinson's Batmobile because it's just so practical. It's, a car that you would see on the street, and then you kind of do a double take, and it's like, no, that thing is, like, super supercharged. This thing is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that, Matt Reeves wanted it to be, kind of like Christine, and it's like, okay, I kind of like that it has that horror element to it. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go with Pattinson's Batmobile.
I feel you.
Alright. Best Bat theme.
Michael Keaton. Or Danny Elfman's Bat theme from
the 89.
Batman 89, yeah. It's the most iconic. It's the one that not only do all the Batman films after it try and differentiate themselves with, they all have to acknowledge it in one way or the other. It's the superhero theme that is in the same league as
Superman?
the Superman theme that all other superhero films have to acknowledge or have to work around. Like the first Spider-Man film, its theme is stealing from heavily the Batman theme, which is also done by Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
So I would say the Danny Elfman Bat theme.
Because, I mean, the theme to Batman 66 is just as iconic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You hear it and, you have it stuck in your head all day, Batman. So it's like, yeah, it's fun. And just kind of seeing the evolution of music where it's turned into, this is going to be basically the essence of the character. And it's like, the actor doesn't even have to say anything. You hear the music, you see the costume, and that's Batman.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I love the new score from the Batman. I feel like the Nolan trilogy, he has his Bat theme, but it's kind of immersed into the rest of the music and the scenes.
Well, my thing with the the music of Batman Begins is none of it stands out to me. Yeah. That's no offense to Hans Zimmer. He's a fantastic composer. Yes, I like a lot of his work. It's just none of the music in that stands out to me nearly as much as the Tim Burton Batman.
Danny Elfman.
Or the Danny Elfman theme.
I agree. I mean, that has been Batman's theme for a long time. I mean, that was the theme in Batman the Animated Series. It's just a strong piece of music, and when I think of Batman, I think of that song.
It's the best one.
Alright, so let's see. Best villain.
That's hard. Okay. Because I want to give credit to Adam West because he has 4 villains in it that are all having all the fun.
We get the same 4 villains in the Batman. It's a range of characters that we get.
I think the best one in all these movies though is Jack Nicholson's Joker because he's the main villain. I think he's the only villain in all these movies where he's the dedicated bad guy. Yeah. He's the bad guy throughout the whole movie. And Jack Nicholson is having so much goddamn fun in that role. And it is such a iconic Joker. I think it's a great villain performance.
I agree. I mean, I really thought you were going to choose Paul Dano.
I like him as an actor, and I think the Riddler's really good, but I've seen that unhinged serial killer performance done in a lot of movies. And I'm like, that's nothing special. But Jack Nicholson, on enough cocaine to kill a small elephant, playing the Joker, oh, I'm all in for that. I will never get that ever again.
I mean, Party Man, the Joker, is just... has blown any other villain out of the water I've ever seen.
It is the greatest performance in cinema history.
It makes me so happy to watch that scene that I've gone back and I've just, YouTubed that clip because he is just having a great time. And seeing him across Michael Keaton is just like, it makes perfect sense.
He's living his best life.
He is. He's living his best life, and he brings a smile to my face. I know he brings a smile to your face.
Always.
So, let's see. Best Batman.
Oh, is this our final?
Nope, not yet. Second to last.
Okay. Best Batman, and I will probably be getting yelled at. But I am being 100% honest when I say this. Adam West is the best Batman.
I could believe you saying that.
Yeah, I think he gets the most essence of what Batman is at his core, which is a character for kids who is a hero. Like, I don't have questions of him being a psychopath. I don't have questions of him being an unhinged lunatic. I see him and I'm like, oh, he's a superhero.
Yeah.
He dresses up, he fights crime with the police, and he takes down these fantastical villains. He is the most elevated Batman, and I think he's the best version of that character I've seen on screen.
Okay.
It sucks that he is in the worst movie, though. That is an issue.
Well, maybe you'll have to watch the TV show.
I might.
I think there's like 3 or 4 seasons, so you got plenty to watch.
But boo. I know this is one you've struggled with to your foundation, to your core.
Just as hard as, picking a Batmobile, yeah. That was really difficult, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Pattinson.
With Pattinson?
Yeah, I mean, Michael Keaton was my guy, and then I was like, oh my god, Bale, he's so cool, then it, moved to him. But, I mean, if I could have all of them, like, tied for first, I would. I'm gonna go with Pattinson, though, because he is just so deep in the character. He's just pissed off. He's this angry guy, and we see the full circle of him being, I'm out for vengeance, I'm out for blood, to, I really need to be out here to help people. And it's like, I like seeing that kind of shift and seeing a much more dark and angry Batman, and it kind of gives me, it gets me excited for what we're going to see in the next 2 movies that we get with him.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it really does feel like Pattinson is the only one of these actors that committed this hard to being this kind of Batman. And I think he's also probably the Batman that has the most, not only the most screen time to work with, because it's the longest Batman movie.
Yeah.
But also the most stuff to do as Batman, a character, that I would say that's a pretty good choice as a Batman favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last
just
question.
Not nearly as fun.
Oh no, I think it's fun that he's going out and kicking ass, and it's not like, ooh, couple of punches. It's like, no, I'm gonna beat your ass into the ground.
But does he throw away a bomb after running around a wharf for 5 minutes?
I swear,
he would have thrown it into the nuns.
He wouldn't have thrown it into the nuns.
But he would have definitely thrown it into the School of Ducklings. My Batman would never do such a thing.
I feel like my Batman wouldn't do that either, because ducks are so cute. Even...
Ooh, he almost killed a fucking gangman at a train station.
Hey, we were seeing those videos where they're out there, sucker punching people walking home. It's like...
almost killed a guy.
But he didn't. He stopped.
When they're on the car chase on the freeway, I'm like, boo, Batman killed the guy.
Penguin started it.
Dude.
And that was also one of the coolest scenes ever. You couldn't stop talking about that car chase scene.
I like Mad Max movies. That was a Mad Max car chase. But that besides the point. My Adam West Batman never killed nobody.
Yes, we know. So, best Batman film.
Okay,
of the ones that we've watched.
Yeah. So, this is the most loaded one, right?
Yeah.
Because I think each one has their merit.
Each one has their style, their theme.
Yeah, okay. I'll say we can both agree Adam West is out, right?
Definitely.
It's not really a movie. It's 3 episodes of a TV show stapled together.
Yeah.
Would you... Because Burton's Batman film is probably the most iconic out of the three. But and then you have like the Nolan Batman film, which I think is probably the best made one. I feel that one's probably the one that has the most like cinematic work divulged to it.
Because it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Say what you will about the guy. The guy knows how to make a fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know, and like the Matt Reeves one, it feels like it's borrowing a lot from other movies and putting it into the Batman souffle and seeing what rises up. So, I think this is a conversation that comes down, for me, between Burton and Nolan.
Okay.
Alright? And in this fight, this kind of fucking sucks. I don't want to be wishy-washy and just say, oh, they're both great in their own ways, because that's a pussy shit. Alright? I'll say...
So much angst.
I'll say Batman Begins is probably the better made film, but Tim Burton's The Batman is the better film. I'll say that. Batman 89 is the best Batman movie we have watched so far. For all these Batman movies, I think it puts the most good together. It is the most fun. And I know I said Batman Begins before this podcast, but I changed my mind. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's why I'm like, wait, so is it Batman Begins or is it 89?
Batman 89 is the best Batman movie. I think so. It's the one that I think is the most in tune with being a superhero film.
And a comic book.
Whereas the Nolan Batman Begins is trying to just be a good piece of cinema on its own. Whereas Burton's Batman is the best Batman movie.
Okay.
I'll put it like that.
Okay.
So, but it's neither of them, isn't it?
I like souffle, so I'm gonna go with the Batman. I mean,
I get it.
It was a difficult decision because I love Batman 89 for the same reasons that you do. There's just so much iconography in that movie. Michael Keaton's in that movie. Jack Nicholson's in that movie. But this movie, it just feels like so much more. It feels like Detective Comics. It feels like, a serial killer movie. There's just so many elements to it. It feels like a Bond movie at sometimes.
It is a Batman film custom made to just be exactly up your alley.
Exactly. And I can't wait to see where they take us on the rest of this journey with the trilogy, but I feel like this was just a very strong start to start the trilogy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, we can have differing opinions on this. Like, Batman's a character that means a million things to a million different people.
Exactly.
He's a character that comes from all different walks and styles and techniques and movies and video games and cartoons and comic books. And in this small little section, looking at this one character, I think we got to see a lot of fun stuff people can do with him. Yeah,
I mean, just to see how complex and how far this character could be stretched.
Yes, across what is this, 5+ decades?
Yeah.
So I like this. I like this month. This is a good month.
I agree. Batman is my favorite DC character, probably my favorite superhero of all time. I mean, just has meant a lot to me for a very long time, and it was nice to kind of go back and kind of dissect the character of not just Batman, but Bruce Wayne and Gotham and everything that makes Batman Batman. Yes.
But that brings us to an end of Batman Month.
Yes, unfortunately, Batman Month is coming to an end. We'll do, Batman sequels sometime in the future. It will happen.
Maybe. It might. We might get around to it. Because I don't know about you, but talking about Batman Returns and the weird psychosexual shit Tim Burton gets into, that's gonna be a whole can of worms I don't know if we want to open.
You love talking about weird movies. You got this.
Yeah, exactly. But next month
is a Dean month.
Yes, this is a Dean month, but it's really an us month. Because next month we're going to continue on of the only theme I think we will ever repeat, and that is Anime Month.
That's right. We're going right back to it. It's our second annual, right?
Second? Yeah, I think it's our second. Yeah. It's only the second time around, right?
Yeah.
And I am excited to head this month. I get to pick all the movies.
That's right.
And the movie we're going to be watching first in honor of the patron saint of the podcast that will never acknowledge us because reasons.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a Miyazaki film.
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna do a movie that's been on your watch list forever since I finally got you into anime.
Yeah, I've been trying to take these Studio Ghibli movies very slow and use them on the podcast, so it gives me a reason to not watch them.
Yes, so we're going to be watching Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, I've been dying to watch this movie. I can't wait.
I know, I'm so excited too, because I've actually never seen this one.
Really?
I've heard nothing but good things about it. But I've lined up the whole month. I think it's going to be really fun. We're going to get into some Miyazaki, some Otomo, some Kon. We're going to get to some fun movies in here.
But is this the only movie that you haven't seen?
Oh no, like Miyazaki and the Ghibli movies are a huge empty space.
No, for this month.
I think so. I think so.
I'm kind of wondering if we should do this where for each anime month I go in completely blind and not watch the movies. Yeah,
that would be kind of interesting. Well, I know you don't watch and you've never watched anime except for those months, right? Not including Pokemon.
Not including Pokemon, no. I mean, you made me watch Cowboy Bebop, which I watched with the subtitles on them, and you're like, oh no.
The worst decision you could have made.
And you were like, oh yeah, they have it dubbed over here. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I just watched
you usually
8 episodes.
Never find the sub. You usually can only find the dub in America.
That's all I found was the subbed.
But everyone, if you're looking forward to listening to us talk about Howl's Moving Castle and other anime for the month of May, where can they find us?
Well, if you want to listen to us on a different platform than you currently are, you can find us on Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yeah, you can find us on our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That's The Film Vault on YouTube. Listen to some episodes, subscribe, have fun. It's a YouTube channel. I shouldn't have to explain what to do there. I think you got this, champ.
You got this. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Film Club Podcast. And with that,
we'll see you next week at the Film Club.
I'm Batman.
And that's cringe. Have a good week, everybody.